Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Coin Drop Podcast. This is episode... Oh, God, are we on 100? Is today 100, Mike? 99?
One more week.
99. Episode number 99. Mike is with us once again, back from his trip to Seattle. And for those of you who watched the VOD that we recorded yesterday, we played some Exfil with the devs. Great game. Come a long way. Looking forward to more on that game. If you haven't seen that VOD should be up by now if Mike has got it done. We'll see. Should be a simple export. If not, it should still be available over on Twitch if you're listening to this within the first week.
Yeah, I want to clean it up a little bit, then I'll post it tonight, so you guys have something to watch while you wait for this to post next week.
There you go. Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, just touching on that again real quick, I had a hell of a time, Mike. I don't know about you. I thought it was a really fun game. Yeah, it's come a long way.
It's very different from the first time, and honestly, probably one of the last times I played it. It's come a very long way.
Yeah, so show those guys some love. Don't pay too much attention to the reviews. Most of them are old, and they're not with where the current build is. Like, the game is worth the $24 easily, and it'll be even more so worth it once the game gets full release and it becomes a sandbox, and people who want to play a battle royale can just make a battle royale, or whatever you want to do with it. They're planning some really cool stuff for it. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. We'll have their link to their store page, as well as a link to our VOD of us playing it with Iron Taxi and Love Boat Gopher, who completely wrecked our shit. Those guys are Love Boat Gophers. He's a hell of a shot, man. I'll tell you what.
Dude is actually a professional streamer, low-key.
Low-key. Couple of announcements before we jump into the catch-up and then on to the games. There will be no community event this month at the end of the month because we just did that event with them. So trying to stream. What am I trying to say here? Trying to...
Words?
Yes, trying to fit, smash... jam all of those words, 3 streams into 1 month. It's a little bit too much. So we're going to be going back to our normal schedule next month, streaming a community event at the end of next month, and of course our live stream episode at the beginning of the month. The poll for what game you think we should play will be up hopefully by the time this episode goes live, if not by Saturday of this coming week. Next thing up, we did attempt to stream on our Facebook that VOD with Iron Taxi, but seems like we've lost some followers over there, so we've dropped below 100, so we can't stream there. So if you're not following and liking us on Facebook, please do that so we can continue to stream over there. If you already do, maybe tag a friend if you like our content, if you like listening to us. Let them know, hey man, go follow these guys. Whatever. Any support you guys can give us, financial or otherwise, is going to help us do more, right? If we can reach more people, that gives us the more potential to have people that maybe might be in a good financial situation and might be able to contribute to us, which allows us to do things like giveaways again and go back to media events, which we really want to do. So if you continue to support us, all I have to say about that is thank you, and tell your friends, tell your family, give us reviews on Spotify, like and follow us on all the social platforms, all that shit. But more than anything, word of mouth, right? If you tell your friends and tell your friends to tell your friends, that's what matters to us. So yeah, spread
honestly,
the word.
Bro, if you just want to make like 4 more just like bot accounts and then follow, like
yes,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's against the terms of service.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, don't do that. All right. Well, jumping into it, Mike, how was your week, man? You took last week off. Chris and I had a good episode. How was your drive to Seattle?
It didn't.
No. Oh, right. No. You didn't. Yeah.
They were like, yeah, you just kind of need to be here, and I was like, all right. And I was like, so, am I like going anywhere? Like I was, checking the watch that I don't have.
Right.
Am I going anywhere? And they're like, they haven't confirmed, so you can just go home. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go to the bar.
Yeah.
Because this week's been one hell of a year.
That's one way to say it.
This week has also been one hell of a year. It's just this month is it's a lot of just the last stretch of me catching up on shit.
Yeah.
And so once all this month for me is figured out, then it's nothing but full speed ahead.
Yeah, you get your feet back under you, and things will get better and smooth out for you a little bit. So that'll be good.
But this week I met some cool people. We've been hanging out, going to like not necessarily clubs, but like the louder bar scenes in Spokane, and like seeing the the speakeasies and the hole in the wall places and things like that. So it's been a fun few days this week.
Cool. I have been trying to keep my shit together all week. It's rough, but I'm getting there. Had fun last night. Hopefully to have fun tonight, and do some Ubering to try and fill some extra financial gaps. But other than that, not a whole lot going on. Still playing Crusader Kings. I've got a retarded king now. Yeah, I've legitimately got a retarded king. He legitimately, like, it's a debuff. I can't do anything. I even tried to kill myself, and it was very funny because like you have the attempt to commit suicide. He can't kill himself, so he had to beg a peasant to do it, and the peasant's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. You're the king. And I'm just like, please end it.
Kill me now.
Yeah. So I've got an inept king that can't be a king. Doesn't even rule the country, really. So I've lost most of my land. I've lost most of my progression. It's the worst part is, like, I was making Star Wars jokes the whole time because he on paper should have been the chosen one. Like, he had really high stats. He had really good chance to live 5% longer. He had great strength. He was really smart. He had all the good traits. And then he got hit on the head or something in combat, and it just straight up brain deaded him. And I was like, you were supposed to be the chosen one. You were supposed to unite Scotland, not leave it in darkness. Yeah. So yeah, that's Crusader Kings is a great game. Hell of a learning curve. I think I've said that enough times, but a hell of a game. Yeah. So
every time I walk up there, you're watching another fucking tutorial video that's like 20 minutes long. And I've also noticed that you're like not even doing what's on the fucking video. You've gone and done your own thing at this point. It's great.
It's there's so many ways to play that game. It's insane. And honestly, like, boy, is it hard to wrap my head around half of them. The only things I understand are sword meet face, face meet sword. So like the more intricate play styles are a mystery to me, and I'm trying to learn them. But
sword plus face equals dead.
Sword plus face equals I am king, you are not. Well, speaking of blood and gore and stuff of that nature, Halloween's come early for us. So tonight we actually have quite a few really cool looking indie breakout horror games that are not like FNAF and about children's souls being stuck into something or resurrecting a dead child. Like, I swear to God, dude, there's like a whole section of indie horror that is nothing but that. Just nothing but it. FNAF
did it once, so now we're doing it too.
Yeah. And everybody's doing it. So we're not talking about indie horror like that. We're talking about some really cool stuff, including a game called, over on the Patreon side, we're going to be talking about a game called Trench Tales. So just to give you guys a little bit of information on that, over on Patreon, we're going to be talking about that, as well as some upcoming games, as always. So the first game we have for you guys tonight is a new game from Blue Hat Studio, which started in 2020 with two friends who wanted to make games. I can relate to that. It's called She's Leaving, and it's an interesting title, but the game looks really interesting. It's a first-person,
it's blood.
I guess, mystery horror game is probably the best way to say it.
It feels like a weird, like, detective type, but not quite detective, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you play as a cop specifically you play as Charles Dalton, who's a forensic analyst who specializes in blood splatter. Gives some serious Dexter vibes, but he's not not a psycho. Yeah, that one. Thank you. So you're sent to this place called Haywood to investigate disappearance of multiple people, and it kind of snowballs from there, pun intended. It's a first-person horror game focusing on crime and mystery, and what's really cool is they actually, I don't know the process of what they did here, but they focused on the gameplay being as realistic as possible, in the fact that they actually focused on real-life practices in forensics to identify, blood splatter and what it means and what the force of impact means and how these procedural operations go in an investigation. So already, just like, again, kind of queuing in on a couple of things there, realistic, right? Like, realism is really kind of up my alley. I want to be immersed, and the best way to do that is to make it as real as possible. Kind of like Iron Taxi was saying, right? You can't jump off a cliff and fire your gun. You're just not going to do it. So,
you can try.
You're welcome to try. So, it's I don't know, Mike. What are your thoughts?
I'm excited for it. You kind of mentioned it off camera when we were talking about it earlier. It's given like Resident Evil vibes, like the first one in terms of like the setting with the environment of 8.
Yeah,
and I think you kind of hit it spot fucking on with that. But it also seems like I don't know, there's something weird about the whole thing. The whole time there's like this woman radioing to you.
Yeah.
And then just like the whole way about her like chatting with you doesn't necessarily have to do with anything that you're doing. And I'm wondering if that plays a part into like the ultimately into like this story of who the person is and also how the game turns out.
Right.
Because right at the end of the trailer, he's just sitting on the side of a cliff, just like pondering.
It's blood.
I mean, we don't get to see his face. I kind of thought he was dead, to be honest. Like, you just see it from the back,
he
right?
Looks like he's kind of just like leaning forward a little bit, like he's looking down over something, and like, or he could just be dead. Yeah. And then she comes over the radio and she says, "I think you'll be fine." And then it cuts.
Yeah.
And like, that cliffhanger alone was like, I need to fucking get this game now. Like,
yeah, it was definitely a good hook for a studio that's been spending the last 5 years building this. You guys released a fantastic hook trailer.
Really?
There's an actual, if I remember correctly, there is an actual reveal trailer. Reveal trailer, announcement trailer coming very soon. So this was just kind of a teaser trailer, but the comms kind of reminded me of in a weird way, and I think this is just mental damage from Dead Space. So Dead Space is all about finding
don't do this to me.
Dead Space is all about finding your wife, right? Like, your wife is on Ishimura and all that kind of stuff. And if you actually pay attention to the chapter names, it actually spells out, I believe her name was Sarah, but the chapter names, if you take the first letter of each chapter, spells out Sarah is dead, right? So like it kind of gives me that vibe of like you're chasing a ghost, like she's gone, or but it's called She's Leaving, right? So it almost implies that you have like there's some potential to stop it. Is it based on the name, which like let's not get too deep into the name thing, right? It is kind of a weird name, but it's so specific in its name that it's like, why this, right? Like, this could have been a million different names. It's a cop game where you're a forensic analyst, right? Like, it could have been anything.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a cop game. It was just you play as a cop in the game.
The
other thing I noticed.
Go ahead.
The other thing I noticed with in the opening scene in the trailer, he's like taking a picture, and then he turns, and the way that the layout of the room, quote unquote, air quotes for audio listeners, the room that he's in immediately reminded me of what was the game that he's like a painter and he's like stuck in a loop in every single room he goes through, and like his wife died and she's like part of the paintings now.
Oh shit, I have no idea. That sounds wild.
I can't remember the name of the fucking game, but they remastered it for in like 2023 or 2024. And it's like, it's still an amazing game.
Nice. Well, while you try and find that, I'll say a couple of things. You are armed only with a taser in this game. It is not an American game. I mean, it might be an American.
It's based in the UK.
It's based in the UK? Okay. I wasn't sure if
Legacy
both
of Fear
of
is
these...
what I was thinking of, sorry.
Legacy of Fear?
Layers of Fear.
Got you. Okay.
The way the rooms are like kind of the doors off shoot to different areas, and like I'm almost curious to see if like depending which route you pick, if you get a different ending, because in Layers of Fear, depending which door you pick takes you to a different place in the story, and you completely skip over things or completely just fast track to the ending. So I'm curious to see where they take that.
I feel like this game's going to be pretty linear, personally. I don't think, like, it didn't give me the vibe of, like, optional paths, right? It seems like there's a very clear, this is the direction of the game, this is the route you're going to take through it, and how you're going to experience it. But there is a lot of question regarding, like, like, who is on the other side of that radio? Is it a hallucination? Is this guy actually talking to somebody, or is he losing his mind, right? Because, like, we don't really have an answer to that. And her comments over the radio are really ambiguous. Like, she says at one point, like, no, you have to go back, this is insane. And then, you know, in another cut, it's a different portion of the game, and she's saying you have to keep going forward, keep pushing, keep digging. So it's really interesting. It almost makes me wonder if it's his inner monologue and it's just being put in there as, like, radio that the players get to overhear, which would be a very cool design. So unfortunately, again, at this time, at this moment, we don't have a ton of options or a ton of information here, but we do know the game is coming in summer of 2025, so it's not far away. It's really soon, you know, a couple months here. So I don't your goal here basically is to solve the disappearance of multiple persons using the forensic abilities at your disposal. The only problem is you're not alone. So it almost feels like it might be like cult-based or something going on, but it is...
and it shows some of the antagonists a little bit there too.
They're wearing like weird marbled masks. What's even more disturbing about those masks is they don't have eye holes. That really effed me up. I don't know if that was a design choice or like a limitation or whatever, but if it was a design choice, that fucked me up the first time I saw it. I was like, how the fuck does this guy see? Kind of messed me up a little bit. So pretty terrifying stuff. Looks cool. It's called She's Leaving. There is a Steam page for it right now. If you guys want to go there and wishlist it, I'm sure the devs would appreciate it. Moving on, our second British-based horror game for you guys, called I Am Ripper. This is from Studio White Papers, excuse me. And they've made a couple of games exploring different ideas, I guess is the best way to say it. This is their fourth game, if I'm not mistaken. In 2014, they released Ether 1, which was an adventure game that explored what it's like living with dementia, which sounds terrifying. They released What's that?
Said just like real dementia.
Yeah. They released The Occupation in 2019, which is where they started making like branching choices and trying to determine like understanding that the emerging headlines are not always what's true, and like you forcing your players to make choices on a ticking clock that they're not 100% certain on. Also sounds like a great game. Unfortunately, I've never played either of these games, nor the third one that they made in 2021, which is Delilah View, which is kind of where they honed their ability to tell a tragedy about a missing child that had an impact on the community and the people, and how they've got a cool record. And then now they're doing this, which this is a British thriller set in 1988 during a pretty brutal economic decline. I don't know if that actually happened in 88 in the UK, but I imagine it did if they're a UK based company. 1980s, it kind of seems like they're leaning on historical events. Maybe not. I don't know anything about the state of UK before I was born.
The historical events in the name, they just don't mention him specifically.
Right. So it looks to be, from what I can tell, the trailer is very, for all of these, the trailers are very open to interpretation. There's not a lot of gameplay. They're very short. They're teasers. And it looks to be a narrative-focused, choice-based game, similar to things like Until Dawn, Heavy Rain, things of that nature. For those of you who want to go really back, Project Indigo, that was a classic. But it seems to be a choice-based narrative game, kind of like, I guess, what The Occupation was, right? So they lean towards like having to make choices quick. In fact, the trailer actually opens with a guy sinking in a plexiglass box in a lake and having like a crank on one side and a bell on the other, and having to choose what the fuck to do here, right? So Mike, what were your thoughts?
And one of his hands was also like strapped to the acrylic box.
Yeah.
So I love horror that's very like, we talk about this all the time. Like, ghosts aren't scary. Mm-hmm. Monsters aren't scary. Mm-hmm. People, crazy, terrifying, psychotic fucking people are scary.
Fucking terrifying.
And so a game that literally focuses on you being like caught by someone, whether it be Jack the Ripper himself or some fucking copycat, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Already. There's also this very just like unnervingness to the whole trailer.
Yeah.
And I hope that continues through the game, because it's like, it's to the point that like while I was watching the trailer, there was a moment where I was actually getting sucked in, and like I felt like I was the one that was like, do I know what's going on? And start looking around.
Yeah, their atmosphere is very impressive. It is impressive and oppressive. Like it is
impressively
heavy.
oppressive.
Yes.
So I'm excited for it. I just want more horror games like that.
Yeah.
Everything is trying too hard to be like The Evil Within, where it's like some weird fucking like zombie trope, but not zombie specifically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think, kind of going back to like horror games that were fantastic, right? But not like this. I think one of my favorite horror games of all time is probably Condemned Criminal Origins.
Yes.
That game effed me up big time. The second one, I think it was the second one. The first one, it might have been the first one. Either way, that franchise taught me I was afraid of mannequins. There's a scene in that game, for those of you who never played it, where the concept of the game is you are a detective. It's a first person game, and you're a detective tracking a serial killer, and it takes place in Seattle, and it's wild, and God, I really want to replay it. But there's a scene where you follow your target, you're tracking him, and he goes into this abandoned mall, and you go in there and the lights click on, and there's just a fuck ton of mannequins everywhere. And it literally had me go, nope, no.
Beasky was watching me play Silent Hill 2, the remake.
And then you got the flashlight, right?
And you get the flashlight and the mannequins are there. I walked into the room and there was just mannequins. I fucking alt F4'd the game.
yeah, dude. Oh man, I gotta tell you,
nope, not happening.
9-year-old me almost died playing that on PS2. When like I almost had a heart attack and died at 9 years old because of that shit. Yeah, that was, whew. Yeah.
I kind of want to go back and play Condemned now.
Oh God, me too.
I haven't played that in so long.
Criminal Origin and Bloodshot, great games, fantastic. But yeah, so like this game, it's not going to be over the top the way that game was, because it was over the top, but it was also grounded in a certain sense. Your character was hallucinating at certain points, and it got pretty wild. But it's
more of a psychological horror than like an actual like horror.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that again. It's a shame that once again it's not an American like company doing it, because American horror has gotten to the point where it's just blood and shock factor. Like that's where our horror has gone, and so you really have to go outside the US and outside your comfort zone to watch some like really good gripping horror movies, and consume some good content like that. And their focus is actually aiming this at fans like myself who like true crime podcasts. One of my favorite is Red Web. The guys actually Alfredo Diaz and Trevor Collins from Rooster Teeth, specifically Let's Play. They got together and made a podcast where they talk about conspiracies and stuff like that, and unsolved mysteries and things of that nature. And it's a really great podcast. There's a couple other ones that I've listened to in the past as well.
I came across those one of those their conversations, not like the whole episode, but one of their conversations on Facebook. He was talking about this story that he came across of a hunter that was hunting in the Appalachian woods. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've talked about that, skinwalkers and things of that nature. Yeah,
and the guy like shot at him to like give him a warning shot, and the fucking thing looked up at like right at him. So he like grabbed his rifle and he just like booked it, and then he looked back after running a few hundred feet.
Yeah.
And he was looking down the scope again, and the skinwalker was already where he was, like climbing up and like crawling all over the tree. And I was like, I shouldn't be watching this at 2:00 in the morning.
Nah, that's prime time, buddy. Another really great one that I liked a lot, I haven't listened to them in a long time, was Astonishing Legends. They go super deep into that stuff. Like they don't just do surface level. They're multi-part episodes where they talk about these things for hours. It's really cool. But this is kind of their audience they're targeting. So people who are fans of these thrillers and unsolved mysteries and things of that nature. And it's really cool because it's an underserved genre in gaming. And if they can do it in a really cool, unique way, I'm here for it, right? Like, I love narrative games. Until Dawn is still one of my favorite games to play on Halloween, and just have a bunch of buddies come over and be like, all right, you're playing this character, you're playing this character, you're playing this character. And you just pass the remote around and let people make decisions and deal with the consequences. It's a really fun way to play that game.
Oh, we have the remaster too, so we'll have to do that this year.
Yeah, hell yeah. It'd be great. So, the story, I'll read your little blurb here for it from Games Press. So the game is set in 1988. A small northwestern dock town in Britain has witnessed multiple victims by a serial killer who has been confirmed through forensic analysis. Sounds almost identical to Condemned Criminal Origins off the start. Throughout the game, you'll be faced with critical decisions which will change the outcome of your investigation. So we've got branching paths. Like I said, I think kind of Until Dawn style is the way it feels. Or even better yet, since Detroit Becoming Human. Yeah, that one. Or Heavy Rain, which was also a detective game. Great games. You must confront a series of gut-wrenching challenges, placing the fates of others in your hands, find forensic, reveal the secrets, and pursue the person responsible. So branching narrative, tactile gameplay, and award-winning storytelling from White Paper Games. I'm juiced, honestly. Like, there's a scene where the detective walks into the forest and investigates a body, and she like leans up the head and their lips are sewn shut, and you have to actually like interact and cut the thread away, and there's a cassette tape in the mouth, and like, dude, there's
that's the part that like freaked me out a little bit, because like the way that they actually animated the lips moving was like so fucking like realistic, and I was just like, hold up.
It's fantastic. I'm very excited for this game. I hope to see more. I don't think this has a release date yet or any other information, but I believe they do have a Steam page as well. I am Ripper. They do have a Steam page. To be announced, to be determined for release. I just their little sign-off quote here is really cool. On their Steam page, they have, I am power, I am tragedy, I am you, I am Ripper. And that just, it makes my skin crawl. I fucking love it. So, White Paper Games, you guys are pushing some great content. I will have to go check out their other games because they sound just as interesting as this one. So,
Give game.
Yep.
Put in hand.
Yep. Their website is also live now. It went live on the 6th. Hopefully we see some more from them soon. We're going to reach out to them as well, send them this coverage, and see if they'll give us some more information, because please, I want to know more. I need more.
Yes.
Yep. Need it.
Start scratching.
Yeah.
Y'all got any more of that information?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that is the horror side of our content for tonight. The next one, we're going to lighten things up a little bit. This game is called Everwind, and this came across my feed. PC Games actually wrote an article on this and shared their devlog. This is from developer Enjoy Studio. That's the name of their studio. And Bohemia Interactive is actually publishing this, which, if you guys don't know Bohemia, they published some good games. So hopefully they've been doing good by Enjoy. Enjoy has apparently been working on this for a long time. And they released a devlog. This is their 3rd update. So we're going to talk about it. Everybody and their brother is going to look at this and say it's a Minecraft clone. And I know that because I said it when I first initially looked at it. It's just Minecraft. Looks like somebody who like modded the hell out of Minecraft and called it that.
But it's Minecraft with shaders.
Yeah. And on the surface, arguably, yes, it looks very much like that. But it goes way deeper than just Minecraft with shaders and things of that nature. So it is a sandbox survival RPG. It's an open, broken world. So it's one world, but it's broken up with like multiple floating islands throughout the world. Oh, sorry, not multiple. Let me be more specific. Thousands of floating islands that are spread across 3 different altitude levels. So you start the game. Yeah, and they're procedurally generated. So every time you play, it's going to be different. Every time you start a new game, right? You start at ground level, at sea level, basically. And they make an interesting comment that you'll encounter, wildlife, bears, boars, things of that nature. But there's also capybara in the game, which are tameable. And then they make a really weird comment about a myth saying that there are some of them that talk. And I don't know if that's just some offhanded dev thing, or if that means that like there's a potential chance that you're going to run into a capybara that can talk to you in game, which would be super fucking cool.
I'm gonna call it Wilson.
Yeah. So
we're gonna be exploring islands by ourselves.
Yeah, makes sense. It tracks. Are you gonna name yourself Tom Hanks too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna name myself Hom Tanks.
Hom Tanks. Tank Homs.
Yeah, Tank Homs.
So the way it works is the higher up you go in altitude, the more difficult the game gets, right? So it's 3 zones. You've got sea level. They didn't really break down the other 2, but obviously like above sea level, and then fucking stratosphere. Who the fuck knows? Yeah. It is block based, but it does look, it's not blocky like Minecraft is. The terrain is, they're just, square cubes or whatever, but they're beyond just that. You really got to check out the trailer if you're not watching this. It'll be in the description. It'll be linked to their devlog. It looks really cool. There is also a Kickstarter live for it right now, which will also be linked in the description if you guys want to support them directly.
Honestly, if you're supporting them directly, why aren't you supporting us directly?
Right, yeah. Mike, tilt your camera down. You're like floating down here. If you can.
Where did it go?
Where did it go? There are 3 different hostile groups. That looks better. 3 different hostile groups you'll encounter throughout the world, which are representative, I guess, of the fallen civilizations. It looks like they weren't super clear, but it looks like maybe there was some machinist type robot-y warforged things that maybe belong to some kind of advanced civilization. There was some undead. There's a bunch of interesting different mobs to fight. But the way you navigate this world is with a flying ship. So, like, I'm already interested. Mike,
let's go.
Yeah. I don't know if you watched the whole video. What were your thoughts on what you did see?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I probably, even if you had sent it to me directly to watch, I probably wouldn't have watched the whole thing, because like I'm already sold from what I saw. Because like I like games that take the aesthetic of Minecraft and turn them into something greater. And I really like Skyrim, and this is straight up just that. Yeah,
I mean it's very much those two smashed together.
It has the RPG like fighting and like looting. Dungeon crawling type Skyrim-esque mechanic to it, but then it looks like you said, like Minecraft but modded. And I mean, there's other things in there too that like straight up just aren't Minecraft. Like the world blocks themselves are very blocky, but then they're like the Zephyr ship actually has like rounded pieces on it.
Yeah,
like there's circles, man.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you get pipes and shit. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, then the attention to detail on some of the weapons is also really nice, because it if you're not looking at it, like paying close attention to it, it just looks like the fucking Minecraft textures of weapons that you see in the game. But then if you actually like get up close and look at them, you can see that there's little intricate pieces. So, like the arrows for the bow and arrow, and like the hilt actually has detail on it. It's just pixelated, which follows the art style, and I really like that art style. So
yeah,
I'm down.
So there's 3 main paths. You can be a warrior, an engineer, or an arcanist. So you've got kind of your different pathing, and then it's got classic RPG skill tree, level up by killing shit, right? You unlock new crafting stuff, simple recipes you can make solely or directly in your inventory. Other more complex recipes you have to make at a specific bench for them. So I'm kind of expanding on that. I'll tell you one thing it does have that Skyrim doesn't have: 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
And they're working on dedicated servers with no player limits, so completely open world, which would be really cool. There's going to be a durability system for your gear and your weapons, as well as the ability to upgrade and enchant them. You're going to have gliders that you can get. So if you want to traverse from like island to island without having to take the airship, you're also going to have to manage your airship in the sense that you have to manage your fuel and your energy and your water and kind of like coordinate all that. There will be, tiered upgrades to that. So it goes from a fucking raft on the ocean to a basically flying city, which sounds fucking cool as hell. There's NPCs to sell with and interact with. There's character abilities. There's, dude, it sounds really cool. Like, impressively cool. Potion crafting. Sandbox mode will be basically a creative mode where you can just build shit like in Minecraft and just do what the fuck you want with the world. Early access. This is the part that actually, I think, Mike, you said, wow, that's surprising. Early access with what they showed seems like it'd be a lot sooner than when it's actually coming. So right now, early access is slated to come first half of 2026. And honestly, if you watch the video, from what they show, it looks really solid. So
it looks playable.
Yeah, it really
even
does.
Just screenshots, they're in-game screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
And like it looks like, I wouldn't say that it's public ready, but like it's ready for early access for sure.
Yeah. And
I mean, whatever they need to do, they can do it.
What is also really cool here is I've always, survival games have taken a turn where a lot of the time, specifically The Forest is one of the only games I think has an actual story. And when you put
it's not like forefront.
Right, it's not forefront, and it's kind of in opposition of the gameplay, right? Like, it doesn't fit the gameplay. Why build a base if your goal is to get off the island? Like, why do that at all? So it's always made me wonder, like, when are we going to get a survival game that's really going to put story at the forefront and make it mesh well with the world, with the narrative, with the need to build? And supposedly, I'm taking this with a grain of salt, it says major update 1 is going to happen after early release. There's going to be early release first half of 2026, then some quality of life updates, and then major update number 1 at some point after that, where they're going to add main story act 1. So it sounds like there will be a narrative to this beyond just the lore of exploring these, lost civilizations, which is really cool because I love story. I love a reason for doing things rather than the sake of just doing them. So, that's it. They've got 3 main acts that they're planning on updating. So there'll be major update 1, then some more quality of life updates after that, and major update 2, which will add new altitude zone level 3, and main story act number 2, and then some more quality of life updates. And hopefully, according to this right now, first half of 2026, they're aiming for full release with main story act number 3. And that's kind of what the roadmap's looking like. But dude, a 4-player co-op, Minecraft-style game, buildings that don't deteriorate. Hell yeah! Like, that's one of my biggest things with survival games I don't like, is they force you to keep playing them because your buildings just break if you don't, and I fucking hate that. So.
Oh no! It rained too long. This wall is now gone.
Right.
And because the wall is gone, now your whole house is gonna fall apart.
Exactly. So, to enjoy Studio. Keep it up, looking peak, looking real good. Because I mean, at first glance, and a lot of people will probably echo this, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's just Minecraft, like heavily modded Minecraft. And on the surface, yeah, sure, I can see that, but they're definitely taking it and making it their own. They didn't just mod the shit out of Minecraft and go, all right, let's release this, right? So they're definitely putting their own spin on everything, and I think that's really cool.
Hey, to the people that are going to say this is just modded Minecraft, go mod it then.
Yeah. I mean,
enjoy.
Yeah. It's still not going to have a story.
You're going to get it's the same thing, right? Because you're going to get, so it's the same experience, so just go mod it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally exactly the same. No difference.
Anyway, moving on.
That's kind of our top 3 topics on this one for tonight. Let's jump onto some quickfire news. Mike, what do you got for us?
Some stuff.
Yeah, some things. Yeah. Some stuff and things.
Some things and some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few games. One of them I've kind of been keeping an eye on and off, because I saw some early footage of it like a while back. And I'm trying to remember because it came out in 2023, and I was interested, but like it seemed like it wasn't really my pace. And then I saw some footage of it on TikTok, like with all the new updates and stuff since then. And it looks so good. Anyway, the game is called American Arcadia. It's 2.5D platformer and first person, kind of like storytelling game, where basically you learn the tale of the thrilling escape of some guy. It's literally an average man named Trevor escaping from the world's most popular reality TV show. And that description alone, there's so much potential chaos.
That sounds like the Truman Show, just as a video game.
So, there's a demo on Steam right now that it's available to play. You can add it to your library as well. The game is on sale. Actually, no. Sorry, the bundles with the game are on sale. The game base price is $20. Like you can't beat that for the quality of the game that this is. All the reviews are very positive. Recent reviews and all reviews.
Yeah.
As of November 15th, 2023 are very positive. So fucking go for it, because it looks like a great game. The next one I have was actually shown off not too long ago, and it's crazy how time works, dude. They showed this off like, I want to say November of last year, maybe December. Roadcraft.
Mike, you're not doing upcoming games, are you? This is quickfire.
Wow.
We're going to go ahead and jump over to some quickfire news. Mike, what do you got for us?
Epic Games is planning their relaunch of Fortnite. Well, I mean, some of the other games, but Fortnite being the forefront. They're relaunching on the Apple App Store, and they have decided to not only do this, but also kind of stick it to Apple and encourage all of their players to get a Epic Games credit or some sort of like rewards point if you buy any Fortnite cosmetic or pack through their store instead of through Apple. So you end up saving on the 30% fucking fee that Apple stacks on. And you also get credits towards, other games, because it's through Epic Games themselves, not for Fortnite. So you can use them in any of the games that they have on the App Store.
Nice.
That's the only one I really wanted to bring up.
Gotcha. I got a couple of quick ones here. So God Save Birmingham is going to be at PAX East. That was just recently announced. I played this last year at PAX West. It was very rough, but a very cool, ambitious title. Got to talk to the devs about it. I think it was just one dude building the game, if I remember correctly. And the idea is it's a 1-to-1 scale of Birmingham in a zombie apocalypse in medieval times. So you are a dude living in the town, and you've got multiple endings based on how you handle the zombie apocalypse. You can do some crafting. There's armor, things of that nature. It's a really cool project, but it's supposed to be a 1-to-1 scale. So yeah. All of the people that historically accurately lived in Birmingham at that time will be zombies, other than you. That you have So giant sandbox of undead in like muddy fucking streets of medieval Birmingham. So it's going to be at PAX East. So I'm hoping that means they'll come to PAX West, and I'll get to play it again and see what kind of progress they've made. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I did remember what my other one was.
Oh, what'd you get?
More so just like, I mean, if we could talk about it more, but it's more Nintendo bullshit. Their new terms of service now lets them brick your Switch for homebrewing. They won't just ban your account. They will push an update that bricks your Switch. Makes it effectively a fucking paperweight. Because you downloaded something that you shouldn't have.
That's like, I get it, but that is fucking brutal. Like,
yeah, and it's not even just a Switch too. That's like your Switch that's upstairs right now. Yep. Yeah, if you homebrew it, they can. If they detect it, they'll just fucking break your console.
Well, good thing I have a Steam Deck, so I don't need to homebrew it. I can just get it on my Steam Deck. Yep. But yeah, that's brutal. Nintendo once again doing some wild shit. Like, I get it. They defend their IP vigorously, and
that's an understatement.
Yeah, I get it, but damn, dude. Jesus.
Yeah.
Another quick fire for you guys here. Prologue, go way back, closed beta is going on now. We talked about this when they announced the project months ago, I want to say, like before the end of last year. This is from the creators of PlayerUnknown's Battleground, and it is a game.
It's supposed to be a survival game that takes place in like the.
Like it's a true wilderness survival game. It's a survival sim, and the concept is get from point A to point B alive, right? Combating harsh winters, wilderness, animals, such and such. The reason I put a question mark on this is the developers are also working on Project Artemis, and they are doing something really interesting with the development there, where they've decided to split that project into 3 sub-projects to test these core concepts. And Prologue, go way back, is one of those core concepts to what Project Artemis is going to be. So Mike even had a weird face. Yeah, it's a really wild way to go into game design. But they've said that they basically had this idea for Project Artemis, but it's super ambitious. As soon as they said that and what they're kind of thinking, I'm like, are we dealing with somebody who's trying to make, say, the next No Man's Sky, right? Where it's a super ambitious project. Are they going to be able to deliver? But I'm like reading the description. It's like, you're right, a game? It's a game because it's a fraction of what's planned to be in this upcoming project from them, Project Artemis. And so I'm curious to see where development goes with Prologue, go way back, because it's a concept realistically for this bigger project. Without actually calling it a concept, but it literally says, as our first, about this game, our mission. Yeah. As our first project, Prologue, go way back, aims to test machine learning driven terrain generation technology that they developed. Yep. So it's literally a machine, an AI that was put through machine learning and is continuing to, learn. And it's being used to basically randomly generate terrain. Yeah. Which is interesting. Yeah. So they're heavily leaning on AI, which again, I think AI has its place in game design. So I don't have an issue with that inherently. I'm curious to see where it goes. But yeah, it's this idea that they're breaking out major components of this Project Artemis into their own games, which seem to be AI based in order to generate the information needed to compile all of that into one game. And I can see where this could kind of fit, because it's the same idea as random generation of like the other game we were talking about earlier. Even Minecraft itself has randomly generated chunks, world chunks. Yeah. So this would kind of make sense to be the next step, that if you give it set parameters, use these textures for these things, go crazy, let it do its thing, and then you just build around that. Yeah. Sure. I'll give it an excuse of AI. Again, as long as the content is hand built and tailored and stuff like that, procedurally generated worlds are not a new thing. We're just now using AI to do it more accurately on a bigger scale indefinitely, right? Because Diablo 2 had not procedurally generated, but it had different versions of the maps, right? And it chose one at random. So it was the beginning of that steps of procedural generation. So this is just taking it to another level. So that's got a closed beta, and Mike was able to secure us some access to it. So we'll be talking about that in more detail on our next episode if you're interested. Potentially. I have to double check that the NDA says we can. I think we can. If there even is an NDA. I don't think there is, because they've been very open about this project, but if we can, we will. If not, we won't. Moving on, we've got After Conflict. This is actually a game that I was talking about with Iron Taxi last night. I couldn't remember the title of it, though. After Conflict is a Cold War FPS sim, kind of like Xfil, but it's a team-based shooter also being developed and, not developed, but published by Microprose, who's also helping Iron Taxi finish up Xfil. So if you're into what you saw on Xfil, After Conflict looks to be very similar to that, if you watched our footage of that. Obviously, it's not identical, right? It's not an extraction shooter. It's a team-based shooter. But yeah, another great war sim. In a surprising, yeah. Well, you're going to get another one soon. In a surprising update, Neverwinter is apparently still a game that is still supported and getting a new update. Red Harvest is either just gone live or is going live soon for Neverwinter. I'm blown away that this game still continues to get support, but at the same time, EverQuest does, and that game is 25 years old. That game is old enough to vote and have its car insurance reduced because of how old it is. So...
Hey man, we went from 16-bit to 32-bit textures.
Yeah. Yeah. Not quite that bad, but yeah. It honestly, the update for Neverwinter Red Harvest looks really cool. Made me kind of interested in going back and checking it out because it is one that I didn't play because I was on EverQuest. So, but I've heard nothing but good things about Neverwinter. Just not sure it's a game I want to jump into now. MMOs tend to absorb your life, and I don't have time for that. Finally, last bit of quickfire news here, brought to us by one of our patrons over on the Discord. He shared this information with us. The Switch 2 has been confirmed to have 12 gigabytes of RAM, which, to put that in perspective, the PS4 Pro, I believe, had 8, maybe 10. I don't remember.
The PS4 Pro, I think, had 10, and the PS4 base had 8.
That's what it was. So, so more powerful than a PS4 Pro, which is kind of caveat, right? Yeah. Air quotes, right? More powerful, air quotes.
Because you can put all the fucking RAM you want into like a Dell from like 1999, and it would still run like absolute shit.
Right.
It's just it's all about the how quick.
Yeah,
everything inside of it can keep up with each other.
Yeah, it's there's always a bottle cap or a bottleneck somewhere, right? But it's still really good for a handheld. 12 gigabytes of RAM on Switch 2 is really cool. Still think it's overpriced personally, and I definitely still am not buying one. I am going to be very curious to see what sales reports do when it goes into release worldwide. That'll be an interesting thing to see. Yep. That is going to wrap up our free side tonight. We're going to head over to Patreon, talk about some upcoming games, talk about Trench Tales. Mike, any final thoughts?
Yeah. Let me get all the audience here. Tell your cat I said pss, pss. Tell your dog I said woof, and tell your mom I said what's up.
There you go. Have a great night, everyone, and don't forget to tell your friends I said hi.